Hey everyone, Aaron and Joe here, ready to bring you the insight to movies, music, and many more entertainment topics. Our goal is to give you the news you're looking for in the world of entertainment while providing you with our thoughts and opinions on the latest news in the entertainment industry.
We hope you all enjoyed the discussion, but we also need your input. It's right there in the name. You name it, we say it. Comments on our videos, comments on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find those in our description below. Or slide in our DMs. The most liked comment of the week will be featured and answered on our podcast. Comment a question you have, and maybe you'll be the winner. If you stick around till the end, why not hit that red subscribe button and the bell below to get notified when we release a new video. And Joe, how about we get this show on the roll?
I am Groot. That's, hey everyone, translated into the English language. Joe and Aaron here with our spoiler discussion review.
And in the words of Stan Lee, Excelsior!
The legend himself. So, Aaron, we're going to jump right into it, are we?
Oh yeah, right into those soul stones, that is.
Exactly.
Soul stones, soul stones or soul gems?
Soul stones in the MCU, soul gems in the comics, from my understanding.
Yes. But anyway, going into it.
So we're just going to start off by saying, again, if you did not read the title, this is our Avengers Infinity War spoiler discussion. It's going to be all spoilers. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. You've had your warning. We're going to get into it. Go ahead, Aaron. How are we going to start?
Han kills Luke.
What? Man, that...
Alright, no. Soul stones.
Oh, man, I got scared for a moment.
So, Thanos, he starts off the movie with Power Stone already with the gauntlet in hand.
Yup.
He got that from Xandar, right?
Exactly. We don't know what happened exactly to Xandar. I assume that he just wiped out everyone in his path.
They died.
Really?
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably. But anyway, we see him on Thor's ship with the rest of the Asgardians, but we see just that Thanos and the Black Order wiped half the Asgardians out.
That was one of the most heartbreaking moments, I think. Oh my god.
Well, Aaron, there's a lot more where that came from.
But to start the movie off with that, man, that really got me feeling some type of way.
A lot of death in this movie.
But next, another big death actually that happens. We get the Space Stone involved.
Yup.
No other than Loki presents it to Thanos himself.
Exactly. As we know from the first Avengers, Loki was basically working for Thanos to get the Space Stone.
But he failed.
He failed. Thanos did not like that, even when Loki was trying to seduce him and be like, oh, you need a guide for Earth? I'm your guy. But, again, Loki... In failure. Yep. Loki was actually trying to be a little weasel, as he is, and tried to stab Thanos, but that didn't go so well for him, and that was our first major death of the movie, and that was a sad one. I didn't feel so impacted from Loki's death, because we've seen him die in For the Dark World.
I didn't feel for Loki's death from Loki's point of view. I felt for it from Thor's point of view.
Absolutely.
That he lost a brother.
Absolutely. We also get...
Not only did he lose a brother, he lost half of his people.
Yep.
So
half of the Asgardians, who he saved from Ragnarok.
Thought he had saved.
Asgard's dead. Thor has a lot of tragedy, as we saw in the movies.
But we're going to see all that bottled up tragedy really come to play at the end here. And honestly,
let's not get into it right now. Let's not get into it right now. Hold your breath, Aaron.
I can't. I've been waiting to talk.
I know. But we're going to get that out in just a bit. So, as we see, the Hulk goes up against Thanos. As Loki said, we have a Hulk. And Hulk just starts punching him. It's like a boxing match between him and Thanos. But then we see Ebony Maw go over to Cole Obsidian and say, let him have his fun. And then we just see Thanos KO the Hulk. And after that, that's when the Hulk just becomes a scared
honestly,
little boy for the rest of the movie.
It was like one of those videos watching one of the people hit like a dog or something, you know? It's just like, oh my god, you can't do that. You can't hit the Hulk like that. It just doesn't happen.
Yep.
But it happened.
Heimdall sent Hulk to Earth, Bruce Banner, to warn the rest of the world, the Avengers in particular.
But in doing that, he sacrifices himself.
Exactly. And Thanos now has the Power Stone and the Space Stone and just destroys Thor's ship.
Well, what's left of it.
Exactly. Thor is hurling in space after that until we see him again catch up with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
But moving on, we go to the Reality Stone. The Reality Stone was in the hands of the Collector. Last time everyone knew about it. And we catch an interesting glimpse into that in the movie.
So, the Reality Stone, the power of the stone, wasn't really presented very well, in my opinion, in Thor Ragnarok. No, what am I saying? Man, Thor Ragnarok. For the Dark World, the second Thor movie.
Oh, and the liquid type?
Yeah. It was more like the Power Stone, honestly. It had nothing to do with reality.
Yeah, they were still trying to figure it out, maybe.
But man, did we see the Reality Stone in action in this movie?
It was incredible.
Yup.
I thought that when they were in the Collector's room there, I thought that was real.
Yeah.
I never saw that coming.
So Thanos basically kills the Collector from what we presume and destroys his collection.
Yes.
To obtain the Reality Stone. And the Guardians confront him in the Collector's throne room. We
see Gamora get taken by Thanos at this point too, which leads us into...
But before that, we see Thanos use the Reality Stone to, mess up reality. We've seen him turn Drax into blocks, Mantis into, like, a ribbon, Star-Lord's blaster, his blast...
Bubbles.
Yup, it becomes bubbles.
Yeah.
We see Thanos say, "I like you," and then takes off with Gamora. Aaron, what happens?
Then they go to get the Soul Stone from Skeletor. Or the Red Skull.
I called it before we saw the movie.
Joe did call it.
I said the Red Skull is going to come back. Yep. Yeah. And man, what an entrance from him. We both thought that was Lady Death.
Oh, after the reading the comics, I was certain that was Lady Death. Sure enough, it wasn't. But that's where we get another really big moment in the movie, where Thanos has to sacrifice something that he loves in order to gain the Soul Stone.
A soul for a soul.
A soul for a soul, as Skeletor puts it.
Yeah, that was one of the big emotional moments of the movie. Absolutely.
Do you think he actually cares about Gamora that way, or did he put on that show?
No, he cares for Gamora.
He does?
Oh, absolutely. We've seen many hints of it throughout the movie. When Mantis jumps on him and puts him in that trance,
when he's mourning,
he mourns. You see him cry. You see him tear up.
Yeah.
And you see the flashback with him, adopt Gamora basically, and that was his favorite child, his favorite daughter.
He adopted her, all right.
And people are saying that Gamora's trapped in the Soul Stone. I don't buy that. I think she's really dead. Because we see her body lying on the ground.
I don't see her being dead. I think it may have been something that the Reality Stone did. It's almost like a simulation going on in Thanos' mind.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, Marvel... I don't think Marvel was going to pull that. Like, they have a knack, honestly, for not being true to their depths in their movies, as we saw with Loki in particular. Even Iron Man in the Avengers, we think he's dead. Of course, he just got brought back to life by the Hulk after the Hulk roared at him. But anyway, moving on from that, we also get the next stone in the movie, which Thanos takes. That would be the Time Stone from Doctor Strange at the climax of the battle between Thanos, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, the Guardians, and Spider-Man.
But it had to be done.
It was the end game. Yep.
After looking at the however many millions of scenarios,
yep.
The one where they must have came out on top had to be where he gave Thanos that time stone.
Mm-hmm.
But
and after that, of course, Thanos goes back to Wakanda to retrieve the last stone in order to complete the Infinity Gauntlet.
Where he just completely fucks up Scarlet Witch's life. Just makes her kill the love of her life to sacrifice him for the greater good, only to have Thanos to come around and be like, nope, press rewind on the TiVo, and rip his brain right out of the man's head, and throw his dead, lifeless body off to the side.
It's funny you mentioned that, Aaron, because, just imagining, how Doctor Strange and Thanos use the Time Stone, how it becomes basically like a circle around their hand. Yeah. It is like a remote control.
It's like a TiVo, man. You get to record life.
And we're back. So, yup, he rips the Mind Stone out of Vision's forehead.
Not gently takes it out. He rips that thing out.
Yup. And that was actually pretty emotional, too. Just seeing
was brutal,
Vision
man.
Gray up and be a
his
lifeless
body just on the ground as he got thrown away like he was some piece of trash.
Yup.
And right there, you see Thanos' true power.
Yep.
Kills one of the most powerful Avengers.
Yup. And he completes the Infinity Gauntlet. So that's what happened with all the stones in the movie. So we're gonna go over to our top moments in the movie, and we'll start from the beginning to the end. Again, we covered the Asgardian ship blowing up.
That was just heart-wrenching.
Yep.
Heart-wrenching. To see the dead bodies, hundreds of them.
Exactly. And we also touched base on Hulk versus Thanos for that.
That was an awesome entrance by the Hulk, though.
We have a Hulk.
And he comes out of nowhere and just starts...
It was a boxing match.
Yeah. But in the end, we saw the Hulk lose that one.
Yep. So now we're going to touch base onto the many moments that we really didn't talk about. First with the New York City battle between...
That was the first big battle of the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm. Between Spider-Man,
exactly.
Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Wong versus the Black Order, and non-Hulkish Bruce Banner.
Man, he needed some Viagra or something.
Right?
Man is having some performance issues.
Yeah. That was a great battle. That was one of the highlights of the movie to me, at least.
For the first time in a long time, we see Spidey have his Spidey sense. That to me, that was nostalgia right there. That's like playing the game on the PlayStation 2 that I love so much.
Yep, I loved seeing Doctor Strange fighting Ebony Maw.
Oh, yeah.
They had a nice little rivalry throughout the movie.
That one point where Doctor Strange turns himself into about 30 different Doctor Stranges.
That is later in the movie. That's when he fights Thanos. That was a big highlight, too.
But his fighting style.
Yeah, he's the Sorcerer Supreme. He is, as Tony Stark calls him, a wizard.
The Wizards.
Yeah.
When they were calling them the Wizards, I love that. I was cracking up.
Tony called Ebony Maw Squidward. That was hysterical.
The entire audience just erupted.
Tony's suit up with the nanotech Iron Man suit, that had to be probably one of the top 3 Iron Man suit ups in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was awesome.
What about Spidey's?
Yeah.
Iron Spider-Man?
Yeah, that was cool to see him use the Iron Spider suit. I like him in the classical suit, personally, but...
Yeah, well, he's going into space. He needs
he needed
extra.
That. So, we have that big battle.
Yep. Big ol' donut in the sky.
Yep.
Next, though, we got the battle in old Scotland.
Yeah. Between first Vision, Scarlet Witch, and they fought...
And the Avengers.
Yeah, but before they came into play, it was...
They were being hunted by the Black Order for the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm. By Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive.
But at this point, too, Vision had also turned off his locator, so the Avengers have been trying to find him for the past 2 weeks. So they've already been trying to find him.
Yep. We have an awesome Captain America entrance.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the beard?
Love it.
Love it?
I love it. I want him to go back full suit, mask on, and Captain America's shield in the final Avengers movie.
Yeah. Wakanda's shield was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Shoot some stuff out of it. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Speaking of, since we're on the topic of Captain America, I have to say, out of all the characters in that movie, Captain America got the short end of the stick in this one, and I was surprised about that. We didn't get enough screen time from him, honestly.
You could also say that about the Hulk, too. The Hulk.
Yeah, but that was for story purposes.
I guess so. Or was it just to cut time while doing the CGI?
Maybe.
Use some old footage from the old Iron Man suit, or whatever, the Iron Hulk suit.
Yep. So we had, again in that fight, it was Captain America, Black Widow, Falcon, teaming up again with Vision and Scarlet Witch, scaring off the Black Order.
Yes. And
while all of this is going on, Thanos meets the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thanos meets the Guardian. Thor meets the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thor takes off with Groot and Rocket to make a new hammer, Stormbreaker.
My favorite part, though, of when the Guardians come in, Rubber Band Man.
Yeah! What an entrance. What a classical entrance for that team.
Oh, awesome. You gotta love it. Mm-hmm. Every movie that they come in with the right song. Mm-hmm. ELO last time, and moving on now, we have...
But going back to our spoiler-free review of the movie, that's where I was talking about, where there's obviously a lot of characters. It's hard to do, but that's where it felt a little bit clunky. It was going from story point to story point to story point to story point. You know, Thor is off with Rocket and Groot. Thanos is doing this with Gamora. Tony is with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man doing this. Guardians are over there doing that. And we have Cap and the Secret Avengers, is what I call them, doing their thing. You kind of get what I'm saying, Aaron?
Yeah, the only time we really see everyone fighting together is in Wakanda, and even then, we're still missing so many. We're missing Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Nebula.
So going back to our top action moments, again, we spoke about the Guardians' encounter with Thanos when we were talking about the Reality Stone. Let's get into Thanos killing Gamora. We really didn't talk a whole lot about that. That was one of the big scenes in the movie.
Well, Gamora, after listening to what Red Skull had to say...
What an appearance, man.
Oh, yeah, let's start off with what an appearance. I thought that was Death at first, Lady Death. After, obviously looking at the comics and stuff, you would think so. And I think they did that on purpose. They wanted you to think that. But anyway, we have Red Skull telling us, or Thanos, that he has to sacrifice a soul for a soul, and something that means something that means a lot to him.
Yep.
And we have Gamora start laughing because she knows that Thanos does not give a shit about anything.
And the audience in the theater knew, oh no, it's not going to go well.
Yeah. And sure enough, as Gamora's talking and talking, Thanos slowly turns around with a tear, one single tear coming down from his eye, and picks up Gamora and
tosses her off the cliff.
Just tosses her off. And we see her just lifeless body lay there on the rocks at the end. And that was pretty deep from the Marvel Universe, where we normally just see someone getting like vaporized or just going away. But here we see like an actual body just sitting there.
This scene was one of the prime examples of why this is Thanos' story, and why Thanos is the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He has a plot, but he thinks what he's doing is right. And
he's on a mission.
Yeah.
And he is going to stop once he fulfills that mission. He doesn't want to go after the entire universe after he does all this. He doesn't want to be the leader.
No.
All he wants to do is fix the universe.
Exactly.
By getting rid of the people who don't conform to what he says.
Yeah.
Or genocide.
He wants to wipe out half the population of the universe, so there's balance. There's control.
Yeah.
And after that, again, he's not that mustache-twirling villain who's like, oh, after this, I am going to sit on my throne and take over the universe.
I don't want to be the one that says it, but, I mean, you compare him, Thanos to Adolf Hitler. They both believe in genocide, but in the end, they were both smart men. I'm not saying they were good men, but they were both smart. They knew what they were doing. Thanos knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So, again, he just wants to rest. That's it. His job is done right after he takes away half the universe. So we'll jump back into our top moments of the movie. We go right into...
One of the big things that happens, well, not big things, but we have a battle where we finally see the Guardians fighting alongside the Avengers.
Yep. So it was Star-Lord, Mantis, Drax, with Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Iron Man take on the Mad Titan himself, Thanos, on his home planet, which is now destroyed, Titan. And, man, what a visually stunning fight scene.
Oh, yeah.
Again, like you said earlier, Aaron, with Doctor Strange turning himself into 40 different copies of himself. And
it was amazing.
Wrapping up Thanos. Spider-Man kicking Thanos around. Insect. That was cool. We have a nice one-on-one battle between Iron Man and Thanos, where Thanos knows who Tony Stark is. You know? I'm sure after the Avengers, he's like, oh, so that's the guy who took out my warship. Okay, I'm going to do some research on this guy. And he respects Tony. Again, he stabs him right in the rib. Yeah. Everyone thought he was gone, but...
Yeah. That you hear the sounds that came out of the theater.
Yep.
There are people leaving the theater crying because of that scene.
Mm-hmm. So while this is going on, we have our next major moment. We have the big Wakanda battle between...
Everyone versus the Black Order and
their dogs, berserker dogs. I mean, they were scary.
They were nasty, man.
I mean, when you see them just crawling on top of everybody, tearing the Hulkbuster suit apart.
Yeah. You know what? They remind me of the Skags from Borderlands, if you ever played it.
No, I have never played Borderlands.
They remind me just of the Skags, if anyone out there has ever
awesome
played.
Scene. We see Captain America and Black Panther just go storming forward, first ones into battle with their super speed. That was great.
It was an incredible scene, but the part that affected me the most, Black Panther realizing the only way that they can succeed is by opening up Wakanda to the rest of the world, their actual gate, the thing that keeps them safe. Mm-hmm. And sure enough,
man, it was brutal, that whole battle.
That was.
I mean, the berserkers again.
They were getting sliced in half just trying to get through that barrier.
Yeah, again, we hear that. I forgot who said it, but one of the characters said they're killing themselves just trying to get in. Yeah. I mean, that was once those things are in, there's no escape. That's it. Mm-hmm. We get some awesome action between, we got Scarlet Witch with her moments, Vision, Cap, Black Panther, Okoye, Black Widow.
We get a little bit at the end. During the beginning, they're just trying to extract that stone. I thought they were going to do it.
We had a nice fight scene between the Hulkbuster suit, Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit versus Cole Obsidian and the women Avengers, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, and Okoye fighting Proximate Midnight. That was awesome. But
I thought that they were going to get that stone out of Vision's head. I thought they were going to do it in Wakanda. Mm-mm. It didn't happen, and that's one of the most incredible things about this movie. Yeah. Things that make a Marvel movie great. That those normal things that you could see coming every once in a while, they didn't happen in this movie.
Yup. So, in the Wakanda battle, we're just going to jump right into it. The big moment happens. I think this is my personal favorite moment of the movie. I think it's Aaron's favorite moment. Thor's grand entrance with Rocket and Groot next to him. Thor armored up with his new axe, Stormbreaker.
And the look in this man's eyes is a look of revenge for half of his entire race and his brother. And
you hear,
oh my God,
you hear Bruce Banner scream out, "You guys are so screwed!" And we see Thor, Groot, and Rocket run into battle.
Lightning
Oh
everywhere.
My God. I just have to mention before we keep talking about that moment, Thor has grown as one of my favorite Marvel characters.
He's come a long way from the first two movies.
Yeah, especially after Ragnarok. Ragnarok was... I call Ragnarok
that was his breakout movie.
The breakout movie of Thor, also his soft reboot, because he was more...
Definitely added the comedic touch in that movie.
Yeah, but serious too, and this movie was the combination of everything, and he is just a badass. We see him jump into the sky, blue eyes, lightning all around him, destroy the Berserker army.
Oh, yeah.
We see Rocket team up with the Winter Soldier, Bucky, and they're shooting the Berserkers side by side.
Hey, we're how much for that gun? It's not for sale.
How about that arm? I'm gonna get me that arm. And we see Groot interact with Cap. You know, I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers. Yeah. And nice little reunion between Thor and, you know, the original Avengers. I see you copied my beard. But, yep, Thor, when he's running into battle, he's screaming, "Bring me Thanos." He wants to kill this guy.
I thought that he killed him.
Yeah.
I thought he had him until you hear the famous last words of Thanos.
You should have aimed for the head. But before that, we'll go back to Thanos fighting off the Guardians and the Avengers in space, I should say. Doctor Strange, as we said, sacrifices the Time Stone and gives it to Thanos in order to save Tony.
Tony's sitting there yelling at him, telling him, "Let me die." But in the end, Doctor Strange knows that is the only way.
Yep. So that's when Thanos grabs the Time Stone and just goes back over to Wakanda, and he's after the last stone. He just knocks off everybody in his path leading to Vision. Get that nice moment from the trailers between Thanos and Cap. You know, Cap struggling to keep Thanos from getting to Vision.
Yeah.
So again, in the end, we get Thanos ripping out the Mind Stone from Vision's forehead.
Ripping that thing
Yep.
out.
The Infinity Gauntlet's complete. We see out of nowhere Thor just throws his axe over to Thanos and slams it into his chest. And then, like we said before, Thanos says those last words, "You should have aimed for the head," and then the snap. The snap happens. You know, we see the Infinity Gauntlet's just like burnt.
And it's still able to conjure a portal after the snap.
Yep.
But it does look terrible.
Yep. We get a nice little moment between Thanos and the young Gamora, like a vision. You know, the young Gamora asks Thanos, "What did it cost to do all this?" And Thanos just says, "Everything." And then we go back into, you know, the present day, and Thanos escapes. Thor is screaming, "What did you do? What did you do?" And the end is here. We see...
Well, he lives out his mission.
Yep.
His mission was to eliminate half of humanity and finally rest and watch the sunrise.
Yep, and that's how it ends. We see
Thanos sitting there
in his log cabin.
just in the middle of nowhere.
He's all healed. He's healed up, so this could have been a few days, a few weeks after.
I honestly think that it could be the Reality Stone depicting a separate, or not a separate reality, but like a depiction that Thanos wants to see.
I don't think so. I mean, the snapping of the fingers eliminated half of the heroes that we see. Half of humanity's gone, just going over, becoming dust, and we see the original Avengers still alive. Tony and Nebula are on Titan alone after the Guardians die, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. We're going to talk about all the deaths in just a minute.
But we never saw where he exited that portal. We see him walk into that portal, into the space portal, but we don't see him exit it. We just see him sitting there. So something could have happened in between then.
Right. But that's how the movie ends. Thanos won.
Thanos won.
So now we'll get into the major deaths of the movie. So now we're going to talk about the major deaths of the movie. Of course, we spoke about it first in the beginning. Loki, Heimdall, the Collector, and Gamora. They all died before the Battle of Wakanda.
Now, I think, and I think you think this as well, Joe. Anyone who died before the snap of the fingers is probably...
Is gone.
Is gone.
Is gone. They're dead.
But for me, the exception is Gamora. I think she's still alive.
I go against that. I think she's gone too.
But,
I think there'll be a new member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the future movies. We'll see what happens, but let's talk about...
Well, Nebula will take her position.
Maybe, but let's talk about who died and who died in the snapping of the fingers. So first off, right from the get-go, we get... Of course, Vision died too, before the snapping.
Vision, they needed to get the stone out of his head.
Everybody knew Vision was going. Everybody did. So
it was just a matter of when.
So, first off, we get Bucky fade away.
We finally see Bucky come back. He has his new arm. He has his gun. He's ready to go. Mm-hmm. He's fighting alongside Rocket, and just like that, he's gone again.
Yep. We see Cap looking at him like, oh my god, what happened?
Yeah.
And then after that, we get Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Unexpected. I didn't see him going at all.
No, not at all, especially because the movie did so well.
Again, the way these characters are all dying, they're all just fading away into dust. And even though it's not like a murderous kill, it's depressing.
They're slowly fading away.
And they feel it too, apparently. After Black Panther, we get Groot. Groot hit me.
Oh, yeah.
Groot
you
hit
have
me.
Rocket reaching out to Groot.
Oh, my God.
I am Groot.
We hear Rocket, no. I'm getting goosebumps right now. That was a sad part. We got Falcon fading away, Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch fading away after she had to kill Vision.
She had it hard in this movie.
She had a really tough time.
Mm-hmm.
She had to kill the person that she loved only to have him be brought back to life to be killed again by the person she was trying to save humanity from.
Yep. And then we jump back to Titan, and we see the Guardians start fading away. We see Drax first. Mantis.
I don't feel so well.
Star-Lord. Oh, man. He's fading away.
Next,
Doctor Strange. He looks over to Tony and says... It's the end game.
And next, probably one of the biggest deaths in the entire movie, Spider-Man.
People were bawling when Spider-Man was going.
He's a kid. He's yelling out to Tony, his almost adoptive father.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel well. I don't want to do this.
I don't want to go. Hugging Tony. Oh, my God.
I have to
give a lot of credit to Tom Holland,
great actor,
Robert Downey Jr., and the Russo brothers for their directing. That was sad.
But
after see Tony bawling after he fades away.
But after all the death that we see on Titan, it flashes over to New York City.
Yup, post-credits scene time.
Post-credits.
Only one in this movie.
Yeah, just one, all the way at the end. And
we see Nick Fury with Maria Hill in the city.
Yeah, just. What were they? They were just driving.
They were driving. They get into a car accident. They see no one's in the car that they hit.
And then out of nowhere, a helicopter falls with no one flying it.
And then we see Nick Fury knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So
he whips out a pager quickly from his pocket.
We see Maria Hill fade away. He's running over and starts paging somebody, but then we see him start to dissolve. And what does he say, Aaron?
Motherfucker.
And then he's just gone.
And that was Samuel L. Jackson. That wasn't Nick Fury. That was Samuel L. Jackson.
He wanted to say that.
that was the purple lightsaber coming out there.
Yeah.
But
and we see the pager hit the floor, and then before the screen before the screen turns to black, we hear almost like a uplifting beat, uplifting music, and we see the Captain Marvel logo on the pager, and then it just goes to black.
And the entire crowd erupts.
Yep. So that does it with the deaths. And
that does it with our spoiler review.
Well, before we end it here, let's go ahead and just quickly wrap it up and say, our thoughts on where we think Avengers 4 is going to go. I'll start off and say I think it's going to be the existing Avengers. They're going to get as much help as they can from Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp are still alive, and they're going to help the Avengers in the next one.
Where were they in the first one, though? Were they saving them?
I think we're going to find out in Ant-Man and the Wasp that's coming out in July.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be around for Infinity War Part 2, whatever it's going to be called, Avengers 4. Mm-hmm. I think Hawkeye is going to be there. Mm-hmm. And I think, of course, Captain Marvel is going to be in the movie, but she's going to be the one to save Tony and Nebula on Titan. I think she's out in space somewhere.
What's interesting is Nick Fury used a pager to page for Captain Marvel, but Captain Marvel is actually, like, the movie that we're actually getting is taking place in the 90s, which almost leads me to believe, like, a pager was very popular in the 90s, early 2000s era. Maybe she's still stuck back in that time.
It's one of two things. She's either A, still stuck in the 90s, or B, she's on the other side of the universe or galaxy, and she just has that one 90s pager attached to her, and that's her only communication with Earth.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
She has no connection to time on Earth.
Yeah. So, I think it's going to be that, and it's going to be the existing Avengers trying to get all the stones again.
Yes.
From Thanos to reverse everything.
They need to get the entire gauntlet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And Thanos is not going to want that to happen. He's going to be like, my plan worked. It's going to stay this way. You guys aren't taking this away from me. And he'll kill them. He'll kill them to keep his plan from going abrupt.
The thing about Thanos, though, is that he always leaves a hole in his plan. There's always a way to he always makes it so there's a way for the protagonist to come out on top. He does that on purpose. It's a game to him, but it's also one of his flaws. That's going to be his main weakness. I'm not sure what the loop is that he left there yet, but I'm sure it's something that we just don't know yet.
Yeah. You may be right.
But I think that does it for us.
That does it with our Avengers Infinity War spoiler discussion. We're going to have another one of these spoiler discussions and non-spoiler reviews. I think you want to do one for Deadpool. I know we're going to do one for Solo. Solo, a Star Wars story. Deadpool might be a good one. I don't know if it's going to be necessary, but
let's hear what you guys want. You know, whatever you guys want us to talk about, we'll talk about.
What movie do you guys want us to talk about? Even if it's an old movie, again, where you name it, we say it.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch it. Maybe you already saw it.
Comment in the section below. Give us a like and let us know what you want us to talk about. What movie you want us to get in depth with. So now,
or TV show, TV series.
Exactly.
Anything.
This is our entertainment section.
Music.
We serve you. So
just don't send us any SoundCloud rappers.
No.
But thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed.
Yep, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is looking bright. I'm very curious to know what happens next.
You know what else is looking bright, Joe? The future for You Name It, We Say It.
Hey.
That does it for us here on today's episode of You Name It, We Say It Entertainment. We post videos almost every day on topics that interest us and you, our listeners, throughout the week, and wrap it all up with our podcast show.
As always, follow us on our social media pages, and please send us a topic you would like us to talk about. The most liked comment of the week will be featured and answered on Sundays in our podcasts. If you enjoyed, please give us a subscribe and hit the bell for notifications on our new videos. We appreciate the support and stay tuned for more content. You name it, we say it, out.